Hey, Bloodline Sports coming at you. This is episode number 5 of The Den. We're going to talk about the rule changes of MLB this year, 2023 season. There's 3 basic rules that have some parameters. We'll talk about that. We got some good, exciting news of one of our Bloodliner athletes out of North Carolina. So I'll pass it off to Coach Shiaka and let us know what's going on with Melvin.
Cameron Melvin, congratulations, buddy. Cameron was recently invited to for an unofficial visit to Notre Dame. He'll be attending the Blue and Gold game April 22nd and the Irish Invasion on June 4th. He's a freshman right now, class of 26, out of Garner, North Carolina. He's 6 foot, 215 pounds. Guy's a stud, puts in the work every day, constantly working on his craft and getting better. So congratulations, Cameron. We're proud of you to have you a part of the Bloodline Sports family. And, this is something amazing for you.
Yeah. Congrats, buddy. Keep it up.
Congrats. Yeah, he's got that prototypical running back body, low center of gravity, strong, like kind of that Emmitt Smith. So what'd you say? Six
foot 215.
Yeah, so he's packing.
Yeah, so he's doing a heck of a job, and he was just ranked as the number 1 athlete and number 2 overall athlete in North Carolina, class of 2026 from Prep Red Zone. So
is that good?
I think it's kind of good. I think there's something there with this kid.
There's something in the water in North Carolina. Trust me.
A lot of
that's
awesome.
A
lot of people like him at middle linebacker right now, but he's a running back, defensive line. I mean, the kid he plays all over the place. But he's past. He's a great student athlete. He's got a great attitude. You couldn't ask for a better student athlete.
Yeah, because I'm going to say he obviously has grades too.
Yes, he does. Yep.
Very cool. Congrats again, dude. We'll be watching you. And he was invited to the Army.
Yes, he was. Right? Yep, he was part of that as well.
Yeah. Very cool, very cool. Well, tomorrow I sent a post out a couple hours ago we're kicking off the Arizona high school season. We got some big games going on all week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the Legacy Sports Complex. We got a bunch of California teams coming in. We got J. Sarah ranked number 1 in the country. Olu, what are they? Do you know what they're ranked, Al?
I'm not sure.
Nope. Yeah, so Orange Lutheran, they're always in the top 10 in the country. Tomorrow, our Bloodline Birdman baseball game of the week will be Saguaro versus Corona del Sol. That'll be at 4 o'clock tomorrow. There's going to be 4 games going on. Got about 9 Bloodliners playing in those 4 games. So get out there if you get a chance. Great facility, turf fields, concessions. Probably be a lot of scouts there tomorrow. So get out there and check it out. So let's get into these rules. I'm not a big fan. I posted last week I was going to watch this show and have an open mind. And after watching it, and I think I watched about 11 minutes and I was screaming and maybe some foul language was coming out. I turned it off and my wife was like, "What's going on?" I can't believe what they're doing to this game. And the one question I have is anytime anybody makes a rule or they make a decision, there's got to be a why to it. And that's the part that I can't wrap my head around is why. Why are we doing these rules? So let's start with number 1, the pitch timer. And then I'm going to let Alex start. We'll go to Nick. We'll just go back and forth, round table. But pitch timer, 15 seconds when no one's on base. And I'll give a little bit of my insight too. 20 seconds with runners on base. So as a coach, and we're all coaches here, one of the things that I wasn't a pitcher at the higher level, but what I tell my pitchers when I'm coaching is, look, man, you dictate the control of the game, the pace of the game. You're in charge. So you need to be comfortable. You need to have a mind frame of you're ready to throw that pitch, that location, what the situation is. But I do teach, I like them to work fast because I think it helps your defense and all that good stuff. So what do you think, Al? I mean, you coached 23 years in varsity baseball. What's your take on this?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you the why. It's to speed it up and get more fans. But I think what they're doing is they're kind of alienating the fans that are already there just to watch baseball, because 2 of the my favorite things about baseball are different heights, shapes, sizes, play the game different ways, and are successful different ways. The second thing is there is no time constraint. Okay, you don't know when it's going to end. Obviously, you can have a 2.5 hour game, you can have a 4 hour game. They could both go 9 innings, but they want it to go quicker. They want the turnaround. Um, I don't mind watching a 3 hour, 3.5 hour baseball game. I like the intrigue. I like the chess moves, all that. And I think there's something to be said for slowing the game down.
You took
Control
you
the
took it
running
right out of
game.
my right. It's taken away the chess match. That's exactly what it's taken.
Exactly. It's just they want it boom, 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 boom. They want to just keep it
Right.
going. I'm not a fan of the pitch clock. Um, to jump ahead a little bit, the step off rule is the same thing, so they don't pick over too many times. I mean, I love it. You pick over 4 times and the crowd's booing and the pitcher doesn't care and the runners get antsy, and I don't know. I think it's all part of the game, and it's unfortunate to see it changing and for them to put more emphasis on just keeping it moving than actually playing the game the right way and changing
I think
tempo.
it's a
And
farce.
because
It's a farce.
yeah, because everybody plays it different.
Exactly.
Some play it slow, some like a quicker pace, and they're making everybody play the same. And I'm not a fan of it.
No.
Yeah, so we're in agreement there. And one of the things that I don't think no one's even talked about this, picking over to first base isn't necessarily always for the runner. It can get into the batter's head.
Hmm.
I remember we played a doubleheader against the Azusa Pacific in 1992, and I came up. There was runners on first and second, 2 outs, and Coach Barbone slow pitched me, picked over like 9 times, got me so uncomfortable in the box, and I struck out. And I just remember I couldn't focus on what my task was. I was so pissed off that he was pitching over and stepping off and doing that. And guess what? It worked for him. It worked for them.
Right.
And so it's not just about the base runner. But yeah, for the time thing, like, I mean, the other part when we talk about timing in baseball, nobody's got a problem when we get to the playoffs and the World Series games, and the playoff games are 5 hours, 6 hours.
Right.
That one crazy game with the Dodgers and Astros 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that was like 13-12.
Hmm.
And the next day they're like, it's the greatest postseason game in the history of baseball. It was like 6
and
hours.
Was that the Dodger Red Sox game?
I thought it was
the extra inning game.
Yeah, it was an extra inning game. Well, that would have been a World Series.
Well, I'm
game.
Sorry. Yeah.
So. And also, 90% of pickoffs are not to pick the guy off.
Not.
Right. Now it's gonna be the opposite. 90% of them are gonna be to pick because you got to make the most of it. So I don't know. I'm gonna miss that strategy, and it seems like that strategy and that stuff is kind of being stripped away. And they say, they want more runs, they want more stolen bases. Obviously, we've been going through the home run thing now for a while. It's just like NBA has been reduced to mostly slam dunks and 3-pointers.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And don't get us started on the NBA All-Star game.
Well, and you know what's going to happen is
Do I look skinnier this far back?
That's episode 6.
Do I look skinnier?
Keep going. Right. Let's see.
So MLB.com says by doing this pitch timer in the minor leagues, they reduce the games by an average of 25 minutes. So again, what is that? You got 18 half innings. So you're reducing a half inning by a little over a minute.
Just take out 6 commercials. You get your 25 minutes.
Exactly.
Right there.
Well, no, that's what I was going to get to. Is now the commercials are going to be running down below on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see
they're going to be wearing.
Yeah,
they're going to be wearing Corona on their jerseys too.
Exactly. So, of course, the next one is the shift restriction. My take, and then I'll let you guys go. You're not going to tell a football defense where to line up, where to play. You got, if you want to play a 6-2 or, you want to power on, you want a strong side on one side of the field. It doesn't make sense to me. I think, it's always been, well, they're going to get more balls in play. It's always, I think Tony Gwynn just would laugh at that if he was still around, but like, so the rule is all four infielders must have both feet within the infield when the pitcher is on the rubber. So I guess as
They
soon
need
as
to
he
be
hits
4
the
feet
rubber.
onto the infield as the pitcher is on the rubber?
Oh. No, they have to have both feet.
Oh.
Their feet.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're gonna go right up next to the line of where the border would be, and as soon as he lets go, they're gonna move. But I mean, what do you think about this?
I've never been.
Well,
I've
it's
never
kind of
been a
odd.
big fan of the shift, to be quite honest with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it old school. I was always scratching my head because, all right, you have a shift, and why aren't you laying down a bunt down the third baseline?
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing certain things? If you can't hit the ball the opposite way, then what are you doing? But I don't mind this rule change, to be quite honest with you.
Well, this one bothers me the least, but like for me as a coach, I loved when a team would shift on us because we would lay the bunt down.
Correct.
We did something else moving, and not to mention, a lot of times in these shifts, I mean, it's an easier time to steal second or third base because no one's near the bat.
Which rarely happens.
It's harder to turn a double play.
But which rarely happens.
Or
Also,
do a lot of other things.
Did you guys see people stealing bases often with the shift?
No, but that's going to get us to our next rule.
There you go.
So we have so this one we're just neutral on, right? It's not.
Well,
not gonna
to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the shift.
Yeah.
But I don't like the rule because, again, like you said, you're telling them where to play. They're kind of changing the rules as they go, and I know rule books evolve and blah blah blah, but it's dictating where they can play. I think instead of making the hitter adjust, like Nick was saying, and then I forget who was on MLB said, so now the hitters can go back to doing what they were born to do and have been doing their whole life.
What comes to them naturally. Yeah.
I'm like, well,
that was the quote.
A point guard usually has a dominant hand.
Right.
So that comes to him naturally. So you're going to say you can't overplay him to his right hand or left hand because that's natural for him.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. So I never really liked the shift. I thought it should be used certain times. Well, I forget how many times it was used in the big leagues. It goes up exponentially every year. But I also don't like dictating where they can and can't play. So.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been guys that have said the shift ruined their career, ended their career.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you need to make an adjustment. I mean,
exactly.
That's part of hitting is making adjustments. But, so all right, so yeah, we're kind of in the middle of the road there. Bigger bases, we're talking 3 inches shorter from home to first, from third to home, and we're 4.5 inches between first and second and third. And the MLB.com says there were 13% less injuries around the bag in the minor leagues last year because of this. What's your take on this?
Every inch counts.
I think that's the only time it's going to matter. Once every 4 games when there's a play at first, But a lot of those plays can't be avoided anyway. When you throw the ball across the base path, the base isn't going to save you from that. They were doing MLB, how it's going to increase, give you so many feet this way and so many feet this way and save the infielder's errors and make the first baseman better. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, I'm all for less injuries, but again, I don't think it's going to increase stolen bases as much as they say.
What was the percentage, TJ? They said that 27%?
No, that was the other one. It was 13% less injuries.
Okay. All right.
Over the course of a season, that's almost negligible, I guess, unless you're one of the injured people.
Yeah, but I mean, with what's been trending in the league, anyways, is obviously more home runs and more strikeouts. So that means there's less plays at bases, exactly. Anyways, right? Because one of them they're jogging around the bases, there are no play, and the other one's guys going back to the dugout. I don't. This one doesn't bother me that much, but the pitching thing is affecting the game, and I think going back to that. well, I was at the big. There was a big college event here It was the MLB Desert Classic, and you had some of the best teams in the country here. And there is a pitch clock that they had. And when I was at the San Diego Grand Canyon game, I mean, these pitchers now, it doesn't affect them at all. I mean, these guys were throwing. They get a 25-second pitch clock, I think, in college, and these guys there'd be 15 seconds. So they start it when basically he catches the ball back from the catcher. And so, there was 10, 15 seconds to spare when these guys were throwing. But to me, it didn't seem like it really changed the pace of the game that much. I mean, was your first year at Concordia when we had to stay in the batter's box?
Yeah. Yep.
It was my last year. And that didn't affect me at all. I remember some of the like Eric Mosenko, we'll give a shout out to him. He couldn't get it. He stepped out of the box every time, got a strike called out. So I think what you're going to see is these Verlanders are just going to get pissed. When you think about it's a 3-1, 3-2 ball game in the 6th or 7th, and 2 runners on and 2 outs, and it's a 2-2 count, and you're giving him 20 seconds to think about what he wants to throw.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Steve Traxel with this rule? Holy!
The human rain.
Exactly. He might have been thrown out of every game.
Yeah. So I think you might see a little adjustment to that rule. Well, that's our take on the rules. Let us know what you think. Get back to us. Any comments you want to put. This will be on YouTube and all our social media. Go ahead, Nick, as usual.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Bloodline Sports AZ, Twitter at Bloodline Sports, on TikTok at Bloodline Sports, and on YouTube at BSN Bloodline Sports Network.
You got it.
Check us out on the website, bloodlinesports.co. A lot of great stuff on our athletes and a lot of great stuff just as far as financial aid and things about school and talking to coaches and things like that. So get on the website and check it out.